Are you ready to learn about ships and boats? There are many different kinds. All shapes and sizes. This video will teach you about ships, boats and other things. Most of the Earth is covered with water. It's the only known planet with liquid water. This water is what makes rivers, lakes, seas, and oceans. Vehicles that can travel on water are called watercraft. I will tell you about the history of watercraft. The first ship was Noah's Ark. It was built out of gopher bark. The whole world was flooded, but Noah's family and all the animals survived by floating in a big ship. Noah's Ark is very famous and it may still exist today. Ancient Egypt and the Phoenicians were some of the first people to use ships for travel, trade, and war. The old navies of the world did not have guns or motors. None of the old boats had motors. They were powered by sails and slaves, who rowed hard to make the ships go. Like I have said, they had no guns. So instead of shooting at each other, they would ram each other. One ship would crash into the side of an enemy ship and send it to the bottom. It is thought that ancient peoples also used small vessels to cross vast oceans, thus settling on many Pacific islands. The Pilgrims even came to America on ships. In the old days, there were also scrupulous pirates, that attacked ships and stole valuable treasures. There are still pirates, but they are much more sophisticated. Eventually ships came developing right along, and soon they were being steam-powered. Now, ships are powered by steam, nuclear power, or even solar power. Now we will teach you about modern ships and boats. Small watercraft are commonly called boats. The first type of boat we will look at is called a raft. A raft can be made of anything that floats and is often used in emergencies. Life rafts are inflatable and usually bright orange. A rowboat is a boat that is powered by rowing with oars or paddles. Canoes and kayaks are similar examples. A sailboat is powered by the wind, and is often used in races and for fun. A motorboat is often used for fishing, travel and many other things, and is powered by a motor. A yacht is a very expensive and fancy big boat that rich people sometimes own. This is a boat people live on. It's called a houseboat. A fishing boat goes out into the ocean but stays rather close to land, and catches fish. A jet boat can go super fast and is mostly used in races. A tugboat is very powerful. It pulls big ships or unpowered barges. There are also other kinds of boats like rescue boats and hovercraft. Military boats and ships are called navy vessels. They consist of several different sorts of ships and boats. There is the little landing craft that carries troops ashore and can even roll right onto the beach. There's the mighty battleship known as a destroyer. He has big guns and missiles. There is the huge aircraft carrier, which is like a floating airport. There is the silent submarine, that swims under the waves and can sneak into enemy territory and bomb enemy ships. There are many different kinds of civil ships as well. Big ships are mostly made to carry things that can't be practically transported otherwise. A cruise ship takes people on tours around the world. An oil tanker carries gas in huge tanks from one country to another. A container ship can carry thousands of containers. A ferry ship can carry cars and people across a lake or river where there is no bridge. High-speed ships are designed to skim above the water and can go faster than other ships or boats. Some other ships can carry cargo of just about anything. Now that you know all the basic types of water vehicles, you can learn some of the rules of the road, about how to drive a ship or boat. There are only two basic things you need to do to control a watercraft. The first is the power, controlled by a throttle, which affects your speed. Next is the steering, which affects your direction of travel. The pilots of a big ship drive it from a place called the bridge, which is way up high and gives a good view all around the front of the ship. Old ships had huge steering wheels, and many still do have steering wheels. A ship turns by letting the water push on a rudder in different ways. When two ships or boats have to pass each other going in opposite directions, they always go to the right of each other. Ships can take a long time to turn, so the pilots have to make wide turns and be careful not to tip the deck. Ships can also drag bottom in shallow water, which means that the biggest ships have to stay far enough away from the shore so they don't scrape. When a ship is heavy, it goes lower down in the water. The oceans also get higher and lower, as the moon pulls on it every day and night. Ships sometimes carry very heavy cargo. But how are they able to float? Because of a boat's shape, which pushes out on the water around it, it can sit in the water and not sink. A ship's engines turn propellers that push the ship forward through the water. Whenever a boat or ship stops in the open water, it must drop its anchor so it does not drift. An anchor is a big metal device which is chained to the vessel. It goes down to the bottom of the water and stays in one place. A harbor is a place where ships go to park, refuel, load and unload, and repair. Sometimes ships get into bad weather, or cannot see their way, like at night time. Ships have special tools called radar and sonar. These tools measure how far away the bottom of the water is, and can help the navigators see far ahead for other ships or rocks. There have been many accidents and crashes of ships throughout history. In the old days, many were ripped apart by violent storms on the open seas. Some have gone down because they crashed onto the rocky cliffs of the shore. Some have caught on fire and burnt away. Some have broken apart when they were hit by a big wave. Some have been bombed, and some have ventured into the infamous Bermuda Triangle, never to be seen again. One of the most famous ship sinkings in history was the Titanic's. It happened on its first voyage to America. In the foggy, cold midnight, she struck an iceberg, which ripped a huge hole in the side. Water quickly filled the front of the ship and she broke in half and sunk. Most of the people died. The mysteries of the sea are many, and beneath the waves are countless graves. But for sailors who sail the ocean blue for many years, a love for the open expanse of the sea will never let them stay on land for long.